Alright, hello everybody, this is GiveUAnxiety, and I'm going to be bringing you guys an Age of Empires Online stream today. This is the ZutaZuta Classic tournament, and this is the round of 32. We have CG, PF2K versus Eaglemut. So we're going to actually just get into it right away. Alright, so this is best of 3. CG PF2K versus Eaglemut ZutaZuta Classic Tournament round of 32. Game 1 is on Treasure Island. PF2K is playing as the Celts, and Eaglemut's gonna be playing as a Greek in this game. Alright, and here we go. Alright, so CG PF2K, he's a pretty big favorite here. He was seeded, I believe, around number 8 in the tournament, so really high seed, so he's a big favorite. Eaglemut was not seeded, so Eaglemut is an Age of Empires 3 player, and CG PF2K is just basically from AoEO. So here we go. Eaglemut sending 4 villagers to the first hunt here. Okay, he splits up 1 to go on this wood line, which is interesting. He's taking the forward wood line, which is kind of very thin and narrow, so usually that's not ideally what you want to do. You'd rather build a storehouse on the backwood line here. PF2K is building a storehouse on first hunt, and he's, yep, here we go, more standard, building a storehouse on the backwood line. So this map is called Treasure Island. I'm observing, so right now nobody scouted this island, so you can't see, but when somebody scouts it, you'll see that there's always like 2 or 3 gold mines and like 2 or 3 stone mines on this little island. So it's where this map gets its name, Treasure Island. Alright, so let's see if either of these players are going for an early barracks or if they're going to go for C play. See what their strategies are here. Alright, so we do have a barracks down for PF2K. Forward barracks, and he is building a second storehouse. Okay. So this actually kind of hints that he might be making a lot of spearmen in Age 1, because he's spending the 50 wood to build a second storehouse on a second hunt, so that's like a long-term investment. So that makes me think that he might be making a lot of spearmen. Or he's just, yeah. So Eaglemut, he's not placing a barracks yet. He has a lot of wood right now. I'm not sure what his plan is right now. Looks like he may be going to Age 2 without building a barracks or a dock, so we'll see if he's going to be able to hold off the spear rush. But the Celt barracks is just now getting created, so the spearmen do have to walk all the way across the map. And there are a couple crocodiles here. So we do have a couple houses going down for PF2K, and Celts are a very unique civ. In order for them to advance to Age 3, they have to build 3 houses, but their age up only costs 300 food, so very unique, but it's actually really good because their age up, instead of costing 200 food and 200 wood, it only costs 300 food, and it makes you have to build 3 houses, but you still, you'll have those houses built in that population. So alright, Eaglemut is building a storehouse on a very forward hunt, and he does not have barracks right now, so he's actually looking like he's gonna be in a rough spot. Looks like he is going for the dock. Yep, he did just place the dock down. 2 spearmen do arrive, and Eaglemut sends all of his villagers panicking back to the TC, so he's gonna have to get barracks down. Gonna have to get some units out. He is in Age 2, so if he can drop down barracks really quickly and get some high pacifists out, that can help him quite a bit. He's getting 1 villager attacked here, so he's actually running with all of these villagers now. And he is going to actually lose this storehouse too, so this was a poor idea, building a storehouse in front of your TC, especially when you're playing versus Celt, because Celt has very strong Age 1 rush. It's just not a good idea, and it's outside of TC range, so the TC can't attack these Celt spearmen. So we do have the dock down for Eaglemut, but he is wood starved, so he actually can't make anything from this dock right now, and he is rushing to get his barracks up, so he will be trying to get some high pacifists. Oh, and he might lose this villager here also. Yep, and he does lose the villager there. Meanwhile, PF2K did get age 2. He is researching handsaw upgrade, which increases your gather rate for wood, and he is gathering stone, so he's going to be going for that early second town center, while still, you know, applying quite a bit of pressure here with this rush. So we do have the first high pacifist out. He will be able to deal with these spearmen a bit. And there are 3 spearmen and a scout trying to take down this dock. The high pacifist is making his way over there. And oh, PF2K actually sneaked the dock himself, and he is making a swan ship. So swan ships are really strong, very expensive ships, 200 wood and 100 gold, and they cost 3 population. So these high pacifists did arrive in time, and it looks like they're taking down these spearmen. But Eaglemut doesn't even have a trireme or anything queued up in his dock. He's having quite a bit of crisis here. He's actually popped, and he needs storehouses. So this rush really threw Eaglemut off quite a lot. And now PF2K is even making fishing boats. And see, is he placing? Yep, he's building a second town center already. So PF2K looking in much better shape in this game. But PF2K does have much more experience playing this game, as I said, Eaglemut is an Age of Empires 3 player. So yeah, I believe he's fairly new, but he's bringing in his Age of Empires 3 RTS skills. But it is quite a lot of transition going from AoE 3 to this game. So he's doing what he can here. His house, so he does need to get a house down really quick in order for him to make villagers. He's now researching handsaw upgrade. But meanwhile, PF2K has 2 town centers, and now he's even making military buildings, throwing down an archery range, and he has a barracks, and he also has control of the sea. So alright, the pacifists are trying to move out, but now there are already 2 long swordsmen out, so and at this point, PF2K is pretty much just booming away. He has 2 town centers. He's making a villager from each town center constantly, and he's also making fishing boats. And fishing boats gather food very quickly, so his economy will be very strong shortly. And Eaglemut trying to rebuild the storehouse here from his original hunt, but there's really not much. There's this crocodile and 1 deer, but kind of a funny storehouse. You could build a storehouse on these berries even, and for this like stone mine. And these villagers are now getting attacked. And so he's going to lose this storehouse once again. Eaglemut, desperation push, moving in with his 5 high pacifists. He's catching a slinger and a long swordsman here. The crocodiles trying to, oh nope, not attacking. They're seeing what's going on. They're a little nosy, interested in what's right here. There we go. Now these crocodiles start attacking, and they are attacking Eaglemut, which is even worse. And little engagement here. PF2K, too many units here for Eaglemut to deal with. And the storehouse is a bad storehouse placement. So whenever you build storehouses on gold mines or stone mines, you always want to build it so that villagers can fit in between the storehouse and in between the gold mines. So you don't want it too far back, of course, because you don't want the villagers walking too far, but you want to have it in a perfect position where villagers can gather gold and then just turn around, like not even really move, but just like turn around and drop off the gold. So that increases your gathering rate, basically. It makes them gather, more effectively. There's less walking time. So this storehouse this is a bad example. This is an example of what not to do. And you can see this villager right here. These villagers, see this guy who had to walk. As soon as he gathered the 10 gold, he had to walk all the way over there to drop it off. And he was even bumping into the other villagers. So very inefficient. And if you look at PF2K, his is perfect. This storehouse, there's just a tiny gap where villagers can fit in between, and these villagers, they're just gathering and then just turning around and dropping off, and so much more efficient gathering. Same thing with this storehouse. So that's one nice tip that some AoE 3 players might not be aware of. No storehouses in AoE 3, so it's a little bit of a learning curve for the AoE 3 players. And at this point we have 49 villagers for PF2K to only 23 for Eaglemut. So PF2K can pretty much do whatever he wants here. He's just running around now, moving in with his units. And Eaglemut trying to hold, but he's not going to be able to hold too much here. So this is a slinger and long swordsman composition from PF2K. And yeah, villagers are very important in this game. You do not want to fall behind in villager count because the gather rate in this game is pretty high. So yeah, villagers are very important, and Eaglemut had quite a bit of idle TC time. And while all this is going on, PF2K is even going to H3, so. So not much to say at this point. PF2K just giving the final blow to Eaglemut here. And this is a best of 3 series. And I believe after this tournament series, I will stream some games of some other players, some other top players, hopefully. So it's interesting. PF2K is a Persia player. Usually he only plays Persia, but in this tournament there's a rule that you cannot play the same civ in back-to-back games. So he's gonna have to play a different civ, and especially once he gets into the later rounds where he has more difficult opponents. And it's interesting to see him playing Celts right now. So I wonder if he's gonna make Celt his second civ, or if maybe he picked Celts for just to trick people this game. So if you are playing versus PF2K in the next round, it could be worth watching these games and scouting them out, and maybe prepare some strategies for playing versus Celt play. So PF2K throwing down the forward fortress. I think he's probably gonna make some rams as soon as this fortress gets up, because the Celts, they don't have much. Their units don't take down buildings very quickly, because a lot of times they make slingers, and slingers do pierce damage, so very little to buildings. And long swordsmen, they'll do a little bit to buildings, but not a whole lot. So so I think PF2K is gonna be making some rams here, so to take out this TC. Alright, PF2K moving in with his units. A lot of unique units here. He has Wold Raider, which is a very cool unit, military unit, and it has a charge ability. And you can always just hover over a picture of the units and it shows all their complete stats, so really in-depth stats you get there. Celts also have another unique unit to the Celtic civilization, is the Druid, and these guys are very strong. They can heal your units and give your units increased damage, so Druids are a very important part of the Celtic army. And then you got the H3 Bowmen, and there's the GG. PF2K, CG PF2K does take game 1. Take a quick look at post-game stats here. Current villager population, and as you can see, Eaglemut's villager population was at a standstill there, while PF2K's was just climbing very quickly. Alright, so they both whispered me their civilizations for game 2, and so how the maps work is game 1 is always a predetermined map, and then for game 2, the loser of game 1 picks the map for game 2. And PF2K whispered me that he's going to be playing as Persia, and Eaglemut whispered me saying that he will be playing as the Egyptians. Oh yeah, and if you guys are not aware, there's betting for this tournament. You can place bets on who you think's gonna win, you know, all the games and all that. So if you want to sign up for the betting, if you're not already doing it, I'll post the link in the chat. Just click on the link and go ahead and post that you want to sign up for it. It's a lot of fun. Alright, and we're getting underway with game 2 here. Eaglemut versus CG PF2K. Game 2 is on equal footing. So Eaglemut has to win this game to survive. This tournament is double elimination, so if he does lose this series versus PF2K, he's not eliminated. He will be moved to the losers bracket though. Alright, let me update the score here. Alright, so Eaglemut is playing as the Egyptians, we're playing on equal footing, and PF2K is playing as the Persians. This is PF2K's bread and butter right here. Egyptians are very cool civ too. They start with a priestess of Ra, so she can empower the town center, and look at these villagers are now dropping off 11 food instead of 10 food. And villagers also train 1 second quicker. Alright, so Eaglemut building a very unique storehouse here. He's trying to build like a 2-for-1 storehouse where he's building a storehouse on the wood line and also using it as a hunt storehouse. This storehouse will work fine for these first 2 deers, but once these 2 deer are gone, then he would have to walk pretty far for these ones. So, to be honest, I don't really like this storehouse. I would rather have him build just a separate storehouse on the wood line and then a separate storehouse on hunt. This will allow him to get a barracks up quicker if he's trying to do that, but I'm not sure what his plan is here. And PF2K already building a storehouse on stone mine, so he's going to be going for the H2 town center. And and there are cows on this map. And unique thing about cows in this game, in Age of Empires 3, and I think every other Age game, you know, herdables, they fatten over time. And in Age of Empires Online, they actually do not fatten over time, which is interesting. You know, it's a little bit weird, but I don't know. Some people might not like it, but it's not that big of a deal. So, as you can see, you can hover over the cow, and he contains 200 food, and he will just always contain 200 food. So they never get more food, which is a little interesting. And also, herdables and hunt do not decay in this game. So that's why you see players kill all the hunt around the storehouse, and even a dead cow lying around here. Alright, so Eaglemut is on his way to H2. He's using 3 villagers to build his Temple of Ra, which is quite a lot. Looks like he may be trying to get to H2 really quickly and do some type of rush. He does have idle TC, so unique thing about Egyptians is that they build temples to advance through all the ages, which allows their town center to train villagers while they're aging up. Like Persia, PF2K is now in H2, but he has to click on a button and the age up, you know, goes through a town center, so villagers cannot be trained while Persia or like Greek are aging, and Celts. Alright, so Eaglemut is building a storehouse on the stone mine, so okay, but he is building a stable, so he's kind of doing 2 different strategies here. He really should make up his mind and do one. Like it's looking like he wants to go for a fast H2 town center, but then he's also building a very early stable, which makes it look like he wants to be aggressive. So it seems like he kind of couldn't really make up his mind on what strategy he wanted to do. And once again, you're seeing the storehouse not placed as efficiently as possible. It's not too big of a deal since there's not too many villagers on this stone mine, so they don't have to walk too far. But once you get more villagers, you know, then it really gets bad. But as you can see, PF2K's storehouse was perfect, and PF2K is already building a second town center, and he is building a barracks. And Persia have very strong spearmen, so that's what PF2K's gonna be. I think PF2K, let's see, PF2K did scout the stable, so he responded, you know, by building barracks, which is very smart. And ooh, we do have one. Oh wow, he's going actually very far out for this forward hunt, which is really risky. But he is gonna get his barracks up here, and now he's building an archery range. And couple dead wolves here too. Each contains 75 food. And okay, so this storehouse for Eaglemut is a little bit better, but it's still not very good. It should be centered on the gold mine, and it's on an angle. You want it like centered. Like, okay, so yeah. And here we go. We do have a couple camels coming in for Eaglemut, so it looks like they're gonna get a nice raid here. And PF2K is gonna lose 1 villager. PF2K does have A10 research, which is very cool and unique upgrade. Only the Persians have this upgrade, and it allows your storehouses to heal nearby units. So very nice raid from Eaglemut. He actually does kill 2 villagers, but if you look in the queue, Eaglemut's town center is not training any villagers. So yeah, he did kill 2 villagers, but he's also dropping quite a bit of training time, and you know, by having an idle town center. So if we can look at the villager count, we have 22 for Eaglemut and 25 for PF2K. PF2K does have 2 town centers, and Eaglemut is still on 1 town center. He did overgather stone by quite a lot, 175 extra stone. So he's going to be able to place his second town center. He does have the resources right now, so he should really place it down now. He's paying attention to his camels right here, trying to get a raid in. But does need to focus on making villagers here, getting a second town center up. And here are these Persia spearmen. They have a 3.5 bonus versus cavalry, so very strong versus cav, and camels are of course considered cavalry units. Alright, so we do have a second town center coming down for Eaglemut. And PF2K does scout it out pretty much right away. Yep, PF2K is moving in with a couple units here. And the Camels do see it, so they're going to try to take this fight. But there are a lot of other units for PF2K moving on in here. Alright, PF2K is attacking this forward town center, and he's going to try to deny it. TC does get up, but there are a large force here for PF2K, and Eaglemut's army is looking pretty small here. PF2K does decide to back up. Ooh, we do have a couple camels coming here. They're going to get by all these units, though, all these Persia units. But only 26 villagers to 38. So as you see, Eaglemut's town centers are idle for far too long. You really need to be making villagers constantly. Very, very important aspect of Age of Empires Online. Basically, you never want to have idle town centers. So this game takes a lot of APM, a lot more than AoE 3 in some aspects. So there's a lot you have to do. And these 4 camels are trying to come in for a flank, but there are a lot of archers here, and even some spar bars. So not going to be enough units here for Eaglemut. And we do have the Priestess of Ra now healing units, and Priestess of Ra can actually heal in combat, so they're actually very good to add to an army, to the Egyptian army. Yep, this is a very fun game, and Age of Empires Online is free to play, so I definitely recommend you guys give this game a try. Very, very good gameplay. Alright, so we do have some slingers here from Eaglemut. Slingers do counter these bowmen, but then there are spar bar, and spar bar have incredibly high pierce armor, so they're very tanky units. They can tank a lot of shots from the slingers. And yep, Eaglemut has a lot of resources, so this is area where Age of Empires 3 players really struggle. He has a lot of resources. There's a lot that he can be doing right now, but he basically just has an empty queue. So he has almost 1,000 food, but both of his town centers are idle. He just now started training one villager from one of the town centers, so he could have been training villagers constantly from both town centers all this entire time. And just training units. I think he's paying attention a little bit too much to his group of like 4 camels raiding. Yes, you do install this game on the AoEO Discord. This is Project Celeste servers. And Eaglemut is on the run at this point while PF2K is taking down his town center, his second TC. Uh-oh, looks like, oh wow, looks like PF2K might actually be dropping here. He does occasionally have shaky internet. Okay, there he goes. Was just lagging out for a little bit. That would be Probably would just give PF2K the win here, even if he, well, I'm not sure, even if he did drop out, because he is overwhelmingly far ahead. 32 villagers to 58, supplies 59 to 145. So PF2K finishing Eaglemut off here. And PF2K does have some really cool gear on his units. So he has these epic items on him, but in Champion Mode PvP, which we are playing, gear does not affect your unit stats at all. So regardless if you're level 1 or if you're level 40, it's a completely fair, you know, same stats on units. But it does change the way the units look a little bit. So. Alright, so it looks like PF2K is going to advance as soon as the Eaglemut taps out here, and this will mean PF2K will be moving on to the round of 16, and Eaglemut will be moving on to the losers bracket. So Eaglemut is not eliminated from the entire tournament yet, but he is, you know, just moving on to the losers bracket. GG, well played. Alright, let's take a look at these post-game stats. And there's a lot of stats here. You have build order, which shows like every single unit and building place, so very in-depth, very cool. And then all resources gathered, all the usual stuff. And look at all resources gathered. PF2K destroyed him by a very large amount. Alright, so that's it for this best of 3. We are going to get some other games going though.